DC Universe Online, or DCUO for short, is a free-to-play action combat massively multiplayer online game set in the universe of DC Comics. Developed by Dimensional Ink Games and co-published by Daybreak Game Company and WB Games, the game was released in 2011 for PC and is currently available on PC, Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo Switch. DCUO allows you to create your own hero or villain, fight alongside iconic DC characters, experience a story-driven experience, and participate in raids, instances, and PvP battles. Explore the DC universe, walk the darkened streets of Gotham City, investigate the mysteries of the futuristic cityscape of Metropolis, and travel to legendary locations such as Arkham Asylum and the Watchtower. This game certainly has its fair bit of drama, which we'll get into, but the appeal to the hardcore DC fan cannot be denied. It also does have a fair bit of nostalgia for the returning player who played this back 12 years ago. However, nostalgia and IPs can't carry an MMO franchise alone, so the question is, does DCUO set itself apart as an MMORPG in the ever more competitive MMO market, or does it fall a bit short and become a mediocre MMO? Let's find out. Hello everyone, I want to welcome you to the United States of MMO Erica, or of course, America for short. My name is President Brightlife. This is my fancy presidential suit, and today we're going to be taking on the world of DC Universe Online. In this series called State of the MMO, we take a look at an MMORPG, give you some of our first impressions, I walk you through some rapid fire pros and cons, and then answer the question for you of should you play this game in this year, should you wait for an update, or should you avoid it altogether? Friends, I'm excited to dive into the world of DCUO, but before we get there, if you don't mind, if at any point in this video I earn your presidential seal of approval, please hit that like button down below. It allows me to be seen by more MMO lovers like you and I out there. If you love content like this, please consider hitting that subscribe button because we do this kind of thing for lots of other MMOs. We've already got a playlist for you on the channel that you can check out after you watch this video as well. But enough pandering. For your very important presidential vote with that like button, let's jump right in to my first impressions of DC Universe Online. All right, first impressions of DCUO. I'm actually genuinely stoked for this one because I've never actually played it before, and I love a new MMORPG experience. Now, I consider myself to be a casual DC fan. I love some of the movies I haven't seen. I've never really read a comic. Personally, I absolutely love The Dark Knight. Hashtag Heath Ledger Joker is the only Joker, but otherwise, I'm just a pretty casual DC fan. This does make me excited though, because one of the things that I want to know in this playthrough is, does DCUO appeal to the non-mega fan? Does it rise above its IP? Let's find out.
But my obsession had blinded me to the real threat, to Earth's true enemy.
Ooh, Earth's biggest enemy. Deforestation? The liberal agenda? Women. Holy junk, it's Christian Bale. Dude, this intro cutscene is incredible. Jeez, dude. Oh, hey, look, it's Margot Robbie. I love you. Oh no, is that Wonder Woman's truth lasso? Oh God, now Batman will have to tell the truth. Oh God, Batman, don't tell them about what you did to those ducks back in 1966. Two things here. First of all, thanks for the age restriction, and that was awesome. Wow. Holy junk. That was the best intro I've ever seen to an MMO. What a freaking win. Was that the Snyder Cut y'all always talk about or what? But genuinely, the reason that I really like this intro cutscene is that it sets up your character's backstory just so well. Other MMOs could learn from this. So many have you waking up on a beach somewhere after a shipwreck, which is okay storytelling, but this gives your character a true reason to exist in the world that you inhabit. Excellent job, DCUO. All right, on to character creation. Okay, this is really cool. These are called inspiration characters, where basically you start with an inspiration like Superman, Batman, etc., and then you can customize your character from there. That's really, really cool for maybe the non-learned DC fan like myself, who really likes Superman or really likes Batman. You can start there, you can just go with that character, or you can customize it a little bit more. I really like that. I'm sure for the hardcore DC fan, you probably have your character fantasy already down on lock, so you don't need this, but that's a really nice touch. Ah, look, my first taste of the monetization in DCUO. There's certainly a lot of drama. All right, relax. We'll talk about it. Calm down. Not yet. Let's get to the gameplay first. Oh, you can choose to be a hero or a villain. That's a nice touch. I actually haven't heard much about this. I wonder if this is like an alliance versus horde thing. Maybe there's some open world PvP. That's pretty nice. Flirty? I can be flirty? Hey girl, I don't need x-ray vision to see that you're a 10. I'm not sorry for that joke. Yo, okay, cool. You get to choose weapons in the character creation screen. That's pretty unique. I don't know why I thought that this game would be like all punching, but I guess this is cool. You can go one-handed weapon, two-handed weapon, guns, and the AK? Bro, they giving me the GAT out the gate?
Drop your gas!
No, drop your gas!
Yes, we're going with the AK. All right, let's get hair going. This one's superpower is asking for the manager. This one's superpower is surrendering to the Germans. I just lost my entire French audience. We did not like that joke. Oh, this is a cool touch. Lots of skins to choose from. This is really cool. Nice. All right, so this is a pretty in-depth character creator, and that's really nice. Like, the amount of customizability that exists is, how do I put this, surprising. There's actually a ton of customization here, but the way that the game presents it doesn't seem like there would be. There's no drop-down menus, and all the things are basically on different pages. It could use a slight refresh, but it actually genuinely is really in-depth and customizable. It just doesn't seem like it would be at first. Okay, flying is dope. Wow, like really, really cool. The movement in this game, even though I've only just chosen flying, is definitely really creative and fun. I don't know how the other ones work, but this is cool. Okay, combat time. So it's right click for range attacks and left click for melee attacks. That is pretty cool. Bazinga! Sorry, just trying out my new catchphrase. Leave a comment below on what my catchphrase should be. Ooh, there's shielding and dodging. Nice, very action combat feel. Combat feels pretty decent with nice numbers and impacts. I don't know if there's really anything super groundbreaking about the combat, but it's at least better than some games. Sorry, I got something caught in my throat there. It's also nice that everything is AoE as well. Kind of makes the whole action combat system come alive. I will say this, the combat system does have me clicking more than a sweaty League of Legends player. Jeez Louise, the carpal tunnel you must get playing this game must be wild. All right, out of the tutorial, and hey, there are some players here. Nice. I heard a lot of people say in reviews that this is kind of a dead game, but I'm definitely seeing a lot of people run around, which is great. And yep, it's definitely an MMO. We've got a furry here, a gold seller in chat, and dang, the coolest transmog I have ever seen, my man. Shout out to the players in dope outfits who stand in starter areas in MMOs. I don't know why you do it, but y'all probably sell end game experiences more than any video or advertisement ever could. You guys are awesome. Oh, sweet. Okay, so this is kind of like the outfit or transmog system, and wow, this is really easy to use. Very, very cool. Dang, again, listen, other MMOs could learn from the ease of this system. Just click what you want and boom, it's there. And I am now the underwear commando as God intended. Oh, and another thing in the combat, my skill tree allows me to have combos unlockable for each weapon. That's a really nice touch. I think BDO taught me that action combat in MMOs are really super fun. And that's nice to see that that is this way over here. The combat definitely isn't quite at the level of BDO's combat combos, which are of course world class, but this is a really nice thing to see. Yo, and check this out. The side quests actually have voice acting. Very, very nice. And this one gives me a whole $7. Hey, that'll buy me like 3 Skittles in Joe Biden's America. I will say at this point, combat is getting much more fun, especially with the combos. It's very, very engaging. And look at how high you can fly. Seriously, if you don't choose flying at character creation, I really do doubt your judgment. This is sick. And look at the little animation when you fly straight down. You start going faster. That's amazing. Listen, I don't want to hear from anyone anymore that World of Warcraft stole the flying down mechanic from Guild Wars. They stole it straight from DCUO, man. They had this thing at launch. This MMO suffers from what all other great MMOs suffer from alike: dumb friggin' dialogue.
If you're looking for a fight, try me. It
All
doesn't
units,
take X-ray
move into
vision to
position.
see you're up to no good.
Contain the human.
Ooh, sick, we've got our first boss fight, and hey, there are actually mechanics. This fight is actually kind of difficult. Nice. Sweet.
I will possess the collective soul of mankind and turn the flesh of all living things to my will.
Oh, hey, look, they put my mother-in-law in this game. That was nice. Okay, so let's take a minute to talk about the noise and music in this game. It's not the best. I mean, right now with headphones on, all I hear is this. And the music isn't super inspired for this game. I'll definitely admit a bit of bias here because I come from playing primarily Guild Wars 2 and Lord of the Rings Online, which both do have award-winning soundtracks, but still it's worth noting that it's not really a high point of this game. I'd be just as happy watching Netflix on the second monitor or Josh Strife Hayes on my third. But in good news, wow, player housing right out of the gate. That's actually pretty freaking sweet. They call these lairs, which is great, and apparently your lair has a lot to do with player power and mechanics later on in the game, which is a really cool touch. I don't see any sort of public joining lobbies like in Final Fantasy XIV to see other housing examples, but I will say that I'm really digging this system right now, and I love that it comes into play this early in the game. Very nice, DCUO. Okay, and city exploration is pretty rad as well. And the initial map here is pretty large, and there's only more to be had, especially with the 44 and counting pieces of DLC content. That's so much content for you to play through. Wow. I do think that there is a missed opportunity to use the tops of these building spaces for achievements and other fun activities, kind of like in the Spider-Man games, but either way, a nice touch to have cities this large. And speaking of those 44 sections of DLC content, can we talk about that for a minute? That is a metric ton of content to explore for your character. Wow. For the DC fan, you just gotta love that. And as a bonus, you get access to all of that content for the optional monthly subscription, which is
Nice.
all right. Now let's talk about the community in this game. I did get invited to a league, which is kind of like the guild in this game, and the people were really, really kind and friendly there. I know it's only a microcosm of the community as a whole, but they were genuinely cool, very friendly, very helpful to me. Now, one quirk of this game's community is that the default for leagues is to have voice chat on, which was a little jarring for me at first. It definitely harkens back to the older school MMOs with that focus on community unity. Very cool there. On a negative community note, I did get my butt handed to me by this guy in a duel. All right, fine, that's not really a community negative. I'm just a really sore loser, to be honest. Great attention to superhero detail here. There are masks and helms, so you can have your mask on instead of your helm. Very nice. This game is a game that really respects the heck out of the comic book lover, and I love that. Ooh, and look how easy it is to switch between the tank and DPS role. Very cool. This quest is called I Love Lamp.
I love Lamp.
This is game of the year. It's gotta be. It's perfect. Okay, now I do want to talk about questing here for just a minute. Sorry, DCUO fans. The questing is really unimaginative and boring, especially here in the beginning. Go here, kill 5 of these, move on, go over there, kill 10 of these, over and over and over again. It's just really mind-numbing, classic WoW levels of quest imagination. But for now, as a new player, I'm as bored as Plank from Ed, Edd n Eddy. Get it? Bored? Like how Plank is a board? I'll just leave. Ooh, okay, so I just unlocked something awesome, a new flight mode skill to make my movement better, and yes, this is awesome. I love that DCUO is leaning into the unique strength that it has with its movement. Yes, this makes traversal so much more enjoyable. I love this. It's the Teen Titans. Okay, so this is the one DC Universe IP that I was really into as a teenager. Not because I had a crush on Starfire, because of the cool stories, the lore, and because I had a massive crush on Starfire. Hi, Starfire! Okay, that is rad. For real, awesome. Now that I have a bit of nostalgia playing into that Teen Titans fight, I'm invested. I get it for sure if you're a massive fan of the DC Universe. This would definitely send you into that nostalgia sphere. Nice. Wait, do you hear that? Why is the ground shaking? Oh god, it's the final boss of the DC universe, and no, it's not Lex Luthor, it's not Thanos, it's even worse. It's Monetization Man. Okay, so all jokes aside, monetization in this game is, well, it's rough. And to be honest with you, regardless of whether you hate the monetization strategies of DCUO or if you don't mind it, I think it'd be hard to say that it's not the low point of this MMO. Now, before I go into the monetization section, I do just want to point out two quick things. One, if you love this game despite the monetization, that's awesome. I'm not saying that you shouldn't play the game, but I do have to talk about what it is. And secondly, I am getting all of this information as someone who's newer from people that have played for thousands of hours. I'll link my sources in the description down below, but if I get any of this wrong, I do apologize. Please let us know in the comments if I do get any of the monetization wrong, because I will lean on you for that information. However, it is important to note on that one that as a newer player, this is what I was able to easily find on the monetization of this game. So if it's different, then DCUO should definitely put out some other information, because it's definitely the low point. Now, on the pretty typical side of monetization, you do have the sub fee and basic character boosts like level boosts and cosmetic outfits. Pretty simple, nothing bad there. And on the positive side of monetization, when you pay the sub fee, you get access to all 44 and counting chapters of DLC in this game, which is a really good touch. Now, sadly, moving into the more edgy monetization strategies, this game is fully pay to win as I see it. To explain exactly how it is would take a lot longer than we have in this video, but essentially, in order to be quote unquote strong enough for a chunk of higher end game content, you'll have to level a thing called artifact power, you have to have enough feat points to unlock skill points, and you have to open time capsules for a resource called quarks. And these are all locked behind a pretty tough paywall or an extremely long grind. For instance, according to this Steam review with someone with 4,000 hours, it takes months to max out one artifact, and you'll need at least 3 to play your role well. Since I'm a new player, I'm pulling this specific info directly from sources who have played the game for thousands of hours, of course. For me, as research, this monetization model definitely falls into my unholy trinity of bad monetization models, with this being a classic bait and switch pay to win game. Essentially, the game draws you in with a free to play model, gets you excited to play, and then locks your power progression behind your credit card swipe. I won't harp on this for too long, but it's a massive bummer to me because this game does do a great job of allowing the DC lover to experience the universe that they love, up to the point where they have to swipe for power. Again, not a big deal for some people, but it is there, and it's kind of a bummer. But hey, enough negativity, let's get to our rapid fire pros and cons. Now, first up on the pros, combat is really engaging, especially as you level up. Up to the point where I played for around a dozen hours, combat just progressively got better, and I did have a really good time with it. Secondly, this game is DC all the way through. It does a great job of honoring the original lore, which I think is great, and if you're a DC fan, I really think that you're gonna love this game. Number 3 is incredible character introductions. I think the best in almost any MMO. I think that the cutscene allowed you to know where you're coming from, and it really allowed you to plug into the lore of this game, which is really nice. Next up is great character customizability. Actually pretty surprising from my first initial view of the character customizer, but there's a lot here to customize. It is going to be really hard for you to look exactly like another person rolling into this game, which is a great thing. Next, player movement in the game is awesome. I really liked the flying ability. I thought that it made the world a lot more fun to explore. It added instant verticality to the game, which is great. And then lastly, there is an easy to use outfit system, which is a huge plus for people that love to make their characters look awesome. All right, now for the cons. Of course, we just talked about it, but it's the bait and switch pay to win system. I don't really need to get too deep into this one. I think it's a huge bummer. I think that if they removed this pay to win system, the game would be infinitely better and would really start to grow again. Second comes the lackluster story. I just didn't really find the story to be very engaging, even though I was being talked to by DC Universe characters. It was just kind of lackluster to me. The third con is a really boring questing system, at least for how far I got into the game. It was really just kill quests and fetch quests, which didn't really have a lot of excitement, especially coming from some of the newer MMOs that are out, where the questing really does tend to mix it up and vary itself. Next, and not to sound very mean, but I think this game is really just better without the music and sound effects. Maybe you keep the voices and just have Netflix on a second monitor, but I think the game is just better without it. It's just not very inspired. Number 5, there is quite a bit of dead content in this game. I did try to get into a PvP match. I did try to do a little bit of PvE as well, and I sat in the group finder for around an hour and a half, and it just doesn't really work. At the lower levels, you're not gonna find groups for stuff, at least at the times where I was playing, and I was playing on Friday night, so it should have been a lot easier to find groups. And then lastly, according to veterans, the player count has been progressively getting lower and lower. It seems like this game is on a downward trend of population, and it really needs something to bring it back to life. To my fellow countrymen in MMO Erica, thank you for coming to this State of the MMO for DC Universe Online. Today we're going to attempt to answer the 2 questions that we posed at the beginning of this video. Should you play this game in 2023? And does DCUO move past its IP to be a great MMO in its own right? Well, to be honest with you, DCUO exists in a strange space in 2023. For the superfan, it's a great game. Fighting and questing alongside the oft-sung heroes and villains of this universe can't be understated. A love of this IP will allow and encourage you to look over the sins and shortcomings of this dated MMO. It offers a solid action combat system, a friendly community, and an absolute boatload of DC DLC content. This game is regularly updated with content, with over 40 pieces of DLC content to play through that are all accessible through one $15 a month subscription fee. As for the state of the game, the Sins of Black Adam is the most recent DLC patch that was released in October 2022. The player base seems happy with the most recent content, but one of the common complaints of the players is that old content tends to be quite dead, and the player base does seem to be shrinking instead of growing. However, as the president of MMO Erica, I struggle when I think of this game as an MMO outside of its IP content. If you take away the DC from the DCUO, what are you really left with? In my opinion, you're left with a pretty basic pay-to-win MMO. It has the systems, it has questing, it has an open world, but it doesn't really have anything truly innovative that leaves me wanting more of the game. For instance, when you think of the mount system in Guild Wars 2, or the champion point system in ESO, and the quest writing of Lord of the Rings Online, these are innovations that set those games apart and give them a unique identity. Unfortunately, DCUO just doesn't seem to have anything that helps this game rise above the competition and take its seat amongst the pantheon of great MMOs. Additionally, the monetization systems leave a bad taste in the mouths of those who are allergic to pay-to-win systems. It's just a really hard hurdle to get over. However, on a positive note, another major Daybreak MMO project is Lord of the Rings Online, which is hosted under a Daybreak subsidiary called Standing Stone Games. In the last year, Lotro has pulled back a large chunk of its monetization systems to thunderous applause from the faithful who play that game. The reception has been fantastic for the game, and the population has grown decently in the last year since the monetization systems have been overhauled. We can only hope that Daybreak has been taking notes from Lotro and that an update will come to DCUO that will bring needed innovation and a break from the heavy pay-to-win systems. That's why, for me, the verdict for now for DCUO is wait for update for this state of the MMO. The truth is, DCUO is a fantastic experience for the DC fan that is sadly dragged down by a few negative systems. If they remove or overhaul these systems, I believe that we can see a great renaissance for this MMO. Until that time, you and I will stand by, watchful in the night, like the great Batman himself. Thanks for watching. Friends, I want to say thank you so very much for watching all the way to the end of this very long state of the MMO. If you liked this video, please do hit the like button. It really does help me be seen by more MMO lovers out there. If you love content like this, if you love this video, please hit that subscribe button for me. Additionally, please let me know in the comments below what you thought about this state of the MMO. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? I'd love to have a conversation with you down below. But friends, before I go, the last 2 things that I say at the end of all of my videos are the most important things that I could say in any video ever, and it's this. It's that you are more loved than you know, and you are so much more valuable than you realize. I hope you have an incredible day, and I will see you in the next one.